Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear my voice? Hello, one, two, three. Can you hear me? Hello, everyone. This is Peng from Tencent Cloud GME team. Today, I will give a brief introduction about Game Multimedia Engine. So, Game Multimedia Engine is an in-game voice chat service provided by Tencent Cloud. It is the turnkey VIP solution for games. So for different game genres, there may be different voice chat requirement about voice chat. For example, for the mobile or FPS, it needs a low latency real-time voice chat. And for the genres like radio station and social games, the capability of sending high quality audio is required. So GME provide different profiles to meet all the technical requirements. GME is a cross-platform solutions. So it supports macOS and Windows for PC games and iOS and Android for mobile games. And also GME support console games. So it provides supports PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5, and also Xbox One and Xbox Series, and also Nintendo Switch. GME also provides solutions for VR and AR platform. You can use GME to realize different voice-related play in the games. For example, the team-based voice chat, 3D and proximity voice chat, speech recognition, commander mode for voice chat, and also you can apply the voice changing effect to your voice streams. Also, you can use GME to realize applications like karaoke. Besides the real-time voice chat, GME also has other features. The first one is voice messaging. You can send a recorded voice message to the game channels. You also can use GME to do the speech-to-text and text-to-speech. Currently, for the speech-to-text feature, GME supports 125 languages. And for the text-to-speech, GME support 40 language. You also can use GME to do the text translation. So you can translate text and speech into multiple targeted languages. Currently, we support more than 100 languages. If you want to use GME, you can just go to GME portal page of Tencent Cloud. We provide reference code and SDKs based on the target platform you are using. For example, the gaming engine, you can download SDK for Unity, Unreal, and Cocos. And for the operating system, we have SDKs for Windows and Mac OS and iOS and Android. We also support console games, so you can get corresponding SDK to support PlayStation, Switch, and Xbox. Because GME is a cross-platform service, so players on different platforms can talk with each other. And also on these platforms, GME provide unified APIs and unified voice chat experience. Another thing I would like to mention is that GME is an official VIP plugin partner for Wise. So if your game's sound engine are using Wise, you can use our GME Wise solution. So with GME for Wise, developer can add rich and creative sound effects to Wise as they like. So because there are a lot of powerful design tools in the Wise sound engine, so all the voice streams are piped to the voice pipeline. You can use all these tools to process the voice. So you can design a very immersive voice chat experience by using our voice GME solution. So if you would like to use this solution, you can download the voice plugin from the voice launcher. So then I would like to play a video clip. This clip is from a YouTuber. So in this clip, you can see that how immersive voice chat experience can be made by using our voice GME solution. Unlike the normal standalone voice chat solution, such as Discord, so by using VoiceGME, you can create a much immersive voice chat experience in your game. So in this video, you can see that players are speaking in a corridor in the dungeon. So the experience is very immersive, just like in the real environment.
Are you good for topping yourself up?
I'm ready for these. Do you want some?
No, I'm chilling. Yeah, I asked someone. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, hello. Hello, gentlemen.
The secret Templar. Hello.
Oh, the secret Templar.
Secret Templar, yes.
I come with a gift. Accept my gift for the Templar, a bowl. Oh my goody lord.
Okay, so that's the video I would like to play. So if you are interested, actually, you can go to the website and search a Will IP in Darker and Darker. There are a lot of videos that you can see about how good the voice chat experience they made for this game. So thank you. That's all my introduction about the GME. So if you are interested, you can go to Tencent Cloud the GME page and download the corresponding SDK and try to integrate into your game. Thank you.
Hello everyone, could you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. This is Quincy from the Tencent chat, and our product is the chat. So you can use chat to fast integrate the our chat SDK, and use the single chat, group chat, and chat room and system notification to your app. And this is our web demo. You can see we can send the text message and the image message. And this is our app demo, and you can see this. And one guy sends the text message, and other guys can read it, and other guys sends the image message. So also we can sense the also we can record the message and re-edit. And the voice is also supported. So we can select a image to send. And we can delete the message in your app. You can integrate our SDK to your app to realize the chat. So this is the conversation. You can clear the message and hide the conversation. And top the conversation. And this is the context. You can search the user ID. For example, search this one and send your friend request. So you can mute the notification and enable the notification. Also, we can create a group chat. And in a group chat, you can chat with thousands of people in one group. And also, you can manage the group, like mute all the users and delete the users. So in the local search part, we can search the message or search someone. So we search the hi. And in the next page, I will introduce some custom use case for you. And this is the top crypto app in the world. And our chat provides the community function to achieve a more flexible and interest-based chat and increase the app user activity. So this is our demo picture. So in the app, in the crypto app, we support over 15,000 users in a single group chat. And in the next month, we will support 1 million group chat member in one group. So for the next page, our chat helps quickly build social features and significantly increase DAU and usage retention for the Web3 players. So this is the use case Day Club. It is an audio-focused social app, and customers use our chat SDK to build the real-time message communication with the players in the app. So that's all. This is our chat SDK from Tencent. If you are interested in the chat SDK, you can search the Tencent chat on the website and enter our Telegram group. So that's all. Thank you.
Hi all, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello? Yes? Great, okay. So hi, I'm Yuna Fu from Tencent, and thank you for having me today. So for the next 10 minutes, I'm going to talk about cloud real-time rendering. And since we have limited time, I will try to keep things brief. So first you may ask, what is cloud real-time rendering? And as you see, traditionally, you will have to get a high-quality computers with expensive graphic cards to run large games or applications like AAA games and 3D metaverse online events. Okay, I still have enough time. Okay, thank you. Then I will keep something like giving you more things in details. And then, okay, just continue. So for the game developers, the traditional way is not conducive to reaching a large number of general users quickly. But now with our cloud rendering product, customers can make their games or applications applications run and be rendered in our cloud GPU servers in real time. And then we will string the rendered results in terms of low latency videos and images to end users' devices in real time. And also end users' operations will also be transferred to the remote servers in real time. So in this way, we transfer nearly any devices like laptops, desktop, Mac, TV, mobile phones into the PC gaming rig. And end users now can play your games without the need to download any banking application packages, and also without the need to use very high quality computer or cell phone. So as you see, cloud real-time rendering is a very generic technique, and customers who want to realize heavier 3D rendering effects on web will most likely be our target customers. And several common industries include virtual conference, virtual exhibition halls, real estate, automotive, healthcare, etc. Like for the virtual conference and virtual exhibition hall. So for those kind of online events, you can, if you integrate our product, you can allow users to conveniently join in and experience your metaverse events through a web page. And also for real-time industry, you can impress your customers with really hyper-realistic 3D renderings of their future home, office, or retail space. And you can enhance the home buying or leasing decision process with an really interactive 3D walkthrough that stream to any devices and then can be accessed through only a web page. And also for automotive industry, our product can help the development of this interactive 3D real-time cloud car viewing. So unlike the traditional field trip to those 4S stores, customers now can quickly choose a car and personalize it without leaving home through through any terminal devices like their own cell phones. And also for healthcare and medical imaging industry, with our product, those healthcare professionals can now collaborate, comfort, and clinically diagnose while securely viewing and interacting with any 3D or even 2D or even 3D medical images or any devices, or anytime and anywhere. So at present, our cloud rendering product has over 600 and even more customers at home and abroad, and has been adapted to more than 1,000 games or applications and achieving 10 million minutes of cloud rendering service per month. And you can see we have covered industries such as games, entertainment, travel, real estate, medical care, and so on. Here is an example. So you can see this is a IKEA 3D virtual neighborhood project. So our clients specialize in the development of brand marketing, and they can build 3D scenarios using Unity. So they build a cloud-based home furniture show for IKEA, and then with our product, they enable users to tour this venue through a web page where they can just click on their favorite products and even to buy them directly. Here is another project. This is a project in Korea, and the clients called Arim Dandan. So they provide a 3D interactive ebook application for libraries, schools, and other educational industries. So previously, this kind of ebook application could only be installed into hardware devices on site in library, and patrons could only come to the library to operate the application. And the number of on-site devices was also limited, so which will significantly reduce the usage rate. But now with our product, readers can operate this 3D interactive ebook application through their own cell phones or laptops and just open their browsers to read those fairy tale books and collect digital collections and play games and interact with others, etc. This case is from Australia. So the client's called YapTech. It's a rather typical real estate type scenario. So if the house is not yet built, or if the potential buyer is out of town, the real-time agent needs to show their potential customers 3D renderings, and ideally just let their potential customers to do some customization of colors and furniture arrangements, etc. Now, traditionally, this kind of interactive house viewing application is often very large. And by integrating our product, now sales can just take an iPad to the customer's sites, to their home, so then they can just to explain and show those potential customers without the need to carry around a high configurations computer. And customers can also use their own mobile phones or just simply open a web page to experience and explore on their own at any time. Okay, so that is my my presentation today. If you have any question, you can type on the download comments, etc. And if you are interested in our product, you can search cloud rendering or cloud real-time rendering in Tencent Cloud website. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. This is Howie from Tencent Club Europe. Could you confirm that you can see my screen and hear my voice?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, thanks. First of all, I want to introduce for the mobile apps testing in cloud. So this is an independent website, vtest.net. Actually, we have also this service on tencentcloud.com. So I will show that later, just because here we have more richer contents. So basically, it is a simulated real mobile device in cloud, which is built by the real mobile phone hardwares in cloud, and it's virtualized as devices, so that for game developers or mobile app developers, they can concurrently run multiple tests on such real devices. For example, 1,000 devices at the same time. And as we can see here, the whole product is not just only a cloud simulator for mobile game test, it's also a test platform, can conduct such as a performance test and other functional or non-functional testing, and can also manage different test cases overall as a test platform. I have to switch my screen when I'm sharing in this streaming. So it will take a second. I will just switch to another window here. Okay, so that's the right one. So this is another service we can provide as avatar model-driven facial communication. So customers, we have, for example, building online games or online chess play. They want players can communicate in real time and not face-to-face, but use their avatar, which is driven by AI and face tracking technology, and also match the facial emotions with the voice. So we have such a product which is built as an extension kind of GME and as an independent product which can be built into such scenarios. I will need to play a demo here. if I say just entire screen, maybe that will just show my desktop. Could you see this screen of the video demo? I will just play it.
Tencent Cloud Game Multimedia Engine, GME, provides the avatar interaction solution. People can communicate with other players through different avatar models. My facial expression and voice are collected by my phone camera and mic. Then they are transmitted to and rendered in other players' phone. So other players could hear my voice and see my facial movement through 3D avatar. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bye. See you next time.
Okay, great. I hope you all have seen this video. I will switch back to the PowerPoint. And so this is the link for WeTest. Just feel free to visit wetest.net or tencencloud.com. In products category, you can also find the quality management platform, which including WeTest. And on the last thing, so for the storage products, as we are also talking to the community developers who want to build projects for BNB storage solutions. So Tencent Cloud in general offer various cloud-based products for file storage, object storage, or as of course hard disk for virtual machines. So in general, we have different tiers of such kind of products to support different types or different speeds and network accelerations in the whole. Just visit tencencloud.com to find more details and APIs to build solutions for your storage. And to take an overlook of Tencent Cloud, I think it might make sense for us to make a general introduction of Tencent Cloud for those are not very familiar with Tencent Cloud. Actually, Tencent Cloud is the number 5th of the global cloud vendor who is operating over 1 million physical server globally. And the company has a long history and launched cloud in very early days. And since the very beginning of our cloud solutions, especially for virtual machines, we are on the KVM community from day one. And Tencent Cloud has contributed a lot of breakthrough awards or optimizations for the KVM community. And based on our massive amount of operation on cloud servers. So actually, we have around all in history 25% all the breakthrough contributions in KVM and constantly ranked around every year global number 5 or 6 or 7, for example, just behind Google and Google Cloud and are among the top tiers. And we do have the whole digital ecosystem for Web 2, and we are transforming to Web 3 and strategically support Web 3 as one of our key pillars globally. I will just skip some of the slides, which may not be that relevant, but important is to know that we are a full-fledged cloud service provider, and with global service areas, and also with top global analytics and analyst firms. Every year we participate different evaluations, and actually we receive quite decent outcome of such evaluations. And in some of the vertical, like multimedia gaming verticals, we do have a unique value proposition and among the top players. Okay, I think that's in general pretty much everything we can show today. Just feel free to ask questions, and we are always happy to work together with you guys.
Hi, everyone. I'm ecosystem lead at Automata Network, covering our product integrations and partnerships. So today we're going to talk about OneRPC. Automata is a middleware protocol focused on protecting fairness and privacy in Web3. And we're super excited today to be officially be the privacy partner supporting BNB Chain Zero2Hero Hackathon with the Encode Club. And we hope that we can help BNB Chain and the whole crypto community to foster innovation and creativity and the development of new ideas and solutions that solve real-world privacy and security problems. So today's topic is using OneRPC to protect Web3 interactions. Simply put, OneRPC can be your go-to RPC endpoint to interact with blockchains. Before I jump in, I'd like to raise a question. Why is privacy important? At Automata, our core mission is protecting fairness and privacy, and that's why we're here to raise and strengthen the general awareness on privacy and security that we'd like to believe is the foundation of blockchain applications. And the nature of public blockchains means that all your transaction and balance is already on chain and out in the open for the whole world to see. So it is fundamentally crucial for all applications and users to guard any personal information from being linked to that open data, and to protect from scammers and phishing attacks, and also to avoid your transactions being exploited in front-running and sandwich attacks. So the dark forest really requires privacy to maximize your assets and personal security. Blockchains are distributed databases, and in order to read and write from the database, you need to connect to a RPC endpoint, which are usually run by infrastructure providers. And many companies that do this gives a pinky promise to their users saying that they won't collect user data, and users just have to blindly trust and take the company's word for it. But most likely, either for intentional data collection or business intelligence analysis, or against potential bad actors for exploiting centralized single points of failure. So for example, last November, MetaMask updated their privacy policy saying that they are collecting IP addresses, wallet accounts, and this was exposed on Twitter by some community members. And even they have since changed the policy back, it still created massive outrage in the community for quite a while. And this goes to show that, just how much trust users were placing into really the current Web3 architecture. So to use OneRPC, it actually requires no trust needed, because we use secure enclave technology, which is a built-in technical guarantee for the users. And we are also working towards open sourcing and remote attestation. So users will be able to actually verify the code that is being run in OneRPC in the future. So with OneRPC, no one has access to the data inside the secure enclave. And this trusted execution environment protects users' data and metadata from being exposed to any party, including Automata ourselves. And OneRPC is really just a free RPC relay and a powerful tool, which is first and foremost protecting privacy, and also for users to interact with the blockchain in general. It's a public good that eradicates metadata exposure when users interact with the blockchains. And these data can potentially be pieced together to get a fuller picture of users' activities, or review your off-chain identity. And this will potentially allow bad actors to predict and exploit your transactions. So OneRPC, how does it work, right? So we actually employ a series of methods that run side by side together, ensuring privacy protection. And the number one would be metadata masking. So what is metadata? So these are your IP addresses, which is basically your geolocation, and your wallet client, whether it's like browser extension, your operating system, or whether you're using Android or iPhone, and your request timestamp. And again, this potentially could be your time zone. So all these metadata are likely associated with all your account addresses, with all your balance and transactions out there in the open for everyone to see. And by masking metadata, OneRPC prevents tracking and collection of these data. And these data collected, again, could potentially lead to your personal information being exposed, and making it really easy for potential bad actors to specifically target and attack users by either social engineering or spear phishing, worst case scenario, targeted physical attacks. So this is like really serious issue here. The other method that we use is multi-call disassociation. This is one of the key features to prevent potential collection of your transaction data. So wallets actually often batch your requests that your multiple accounts in the same wallet client, which can give away the relationship between the different accounts held by the same user. So let's say you have a bunch of different accounts, with one being your ENS public profile, second account holding your tokens, trading on DEXs, account 3 collecting NFTs. So people might, the user might think that all these accounts are disassociated, but in reality, wallet sends out a batched request revealing that all these accounts are indeed actually associated together and linked to your metadata, the IP address, or the other personal information. So OneRPC in this case works to unbundle the multi-call into individual requests and breaks the linkability between batched queries from different accounts or addresses under the same wallet client, making it much more difficult for anyone to track users' usage patterns. Another method that we use is random dispatching. So OneRPC doesn't stop there. Random dispatching means requests are shuffled before being sent to RPC providers, which also makes sure that no one node providers have the full visibility over users' activity. This will make it significantly much more difficult for any third-party providers to figure out the association between different accounts. And for now, we're actually partnering with and working with many node providers, different providers. So each of the RPC providers don't have a full picture of the timing or the ordering of your transactions. So in the true ethos of blockchain decentralization, in this case, we also minimize our dependence on a single provider to avoid single points of failure, which actually happened during Arbitrum airdrop, where we did easily support large volumes with the maximum uptime. So finally, burn after relaying and request caching. So OneRPC neither stores or collects metadata or data that passes through the relay. So data is discarded once the request is completed. This is because OneRPC endpoints run in a secure enclave, and it's not possible for anyone to view access or tamper with the metadata within. And request caching. There are certain read-only queries, such as block status, block heights, that are cached to reduce response time and also reduce the information load passed on to our RPC providers. So all these improve OneRPC performance and reaction speed. So we actually covered some technical aspects of what makes OneRPC work. But as we all know, there are lots of frictions in Web3, and a lot of them come from bad user experience. This is why we actually designed OneRPC to be a one-click free endpoint as a public good. And just by one click of a button to add the network, you can instantly use it in your wallet already. So this is the OneRPC website landing page. Just by clicking add OneRPC to wallet, and then you have all these networks to choose from. And not just MetaMask or Coinbase, we actually also have support a lot more wallets. And just by clicking the wallet icon, you can just directly add them to the wallets. So we also actually have more wallet partners that I will show later. So currently we support 22 networks, and we're also partnering with all major layer 1, layer 2 networks with a growing number of networks and wallets joining. So OneKey is also one of our key partners here. We welcome more partners and also the developers to join the alliance of OneRPC to safeguard users' privacy and security. And we launched OneRPC around 7 months ago in September last year, and have already relayed 3.6 billion requests so far. So given the strong traction we've been seeing, it's obvious to us that there's a lot more potential to do much more with the relay besides just privacy protection. So as crypto attracts more and more users, it also attracts a lot more bad actors. And we have seen a rapid growth in scam and phishing incidents. And this is why we actually built OneRPC Plus. Some OneRPC Plus features is to, actually the main OneRPC Plus feature is to give user more customizable control of what their actually RPC endpoints can do. So we offered a bespoke experience. OneRPC Plus is even more powerful, advanced user protection with the ability for you to personalize your endpoints. So you get to actually customize your own private endpoint, which is not something that that's actually available on the market yet. So some of the bespoke features I will introduce later. And we believe that for users being able to control what exactly goes on with your connection to the blockchain is extremely important and empowering for the users. And that's why we enabled users to just simply log in and customize their own unique RPC endpoint with the rules that they exactly want to use. One of the first and main feature that OneRPC Plus at the moment has is transaction sanitizers. So these are actually customized rules that prevent phishing attacks and scam attempts. And you can enable, disable, and edit your personalized sanitizers instantly. So now we have an overview of the transaction sanitizer. You can see the different rules with the intuitive toggles that you can turn on and off, and also with indication of which rules support which chain. So for you to immediately take effect with your customization. So this level of customizability is actually the first in the industry currently. So let's take a look at some of the rules that users can customize. Number one is address white and blacklist. So users can create and edit and maintain two lists. One is the allow addresses. You can only add the addresses that you want to interact with, or you can create a ban list to add in the addresses that you don't trust. So you can maintain your own database of known suspicious addresses or smart contract addresses that can be easily added to prevent any accidental interaction. Second rule would be Uniswap recipient validation. So for legitimate Uniswap smart contracts, sender and recipient addresses should be the same. Whereas for phishing attack contracts, sender and recipient address is actually here not the same. So what Uniswap, what this rule does is for phishing attack contracts, sender and recipient addresses are checked, and transaction and funds are make sure not going to the attacker's wallet address. So OneRPC actually checks the two addresses and if they match, and when user interact with the contract, sender and recipient addresses are cross-checked. The third rule is so actually wait, sorry. So actually we are we integrated a lot more rules. So there's a Avenger DAO, which actually Automata and Go Plus Security is also a member of. And we integrated their databases, which are maintained by our security partners. Avenger DAO is a security alliance on BNB chain. And we use its API to check the addresses that users interact with and ensures that the trust score based on the level of risks provided by the Avenger DAO meter API can also be specifically defined by the user. And OneRPC also checks the address that the user interacts and verifies whether any of them is malicious by using Go Plus address API. And of course, we're open to developers to add more potential integrations and welcome more security partners as OneRPC Plus continues to grow. You can make sure you can even make the next integrated transaction sanitizer in this hackathon, and we can integrate it potentially. Last would be a verified contract on the Explorer. So OneRPC ensures that the contract the user interacts with is a verified contract on the official blockchain Explorer. So in this example, verification makes sure that the exact source code was deployed for the smart contract. And also BSC scan has certain contracts labeled as scam or phishing. So users don't need to actually go to the Explorer. And OneRPC automatically checks for the user that the transaction requests and only allows interactions with contracts already verified by the specific chain's official Explorer. This example is a Uniswap phishing attempt without contract verification. I'm going to pause there to see if there are any questions from the community. If not, I will proceed to move on. So yeah, to summarize, by aggregating all the rules, user can specifically customize how their OneRPC endpoint work. And OneRPC in this case blocks any malicious transactions and makes an alert prompt to the user in the wallet interface. So OneRPC in this case really acts as the last line of defense. And the threats that slip past the users are really difficult to go through and are effectively intercepted by OneRPC Plus suite of anti-phishing protection. And here I'm going to show you a demo of how to use OneRPC Plus. So in this example, we are going to enable Go Plus address scanning. So first, we add your private OneRPC Plus endpoint to the wallet, approve the endpoint, make sure that indeed you're connected to the endpoint. And the story goes on. The user continued to explore Web3. He comes across this Doodle NFT website through fake URL or potentially fake emails or fake social media accounts, imposing as legitimate ones with a similar spelling. This is known as a homoglyph attack, which is the most common way to initiate phishing scams. So the user interacts with the contract. And the transaction failed. Why? We take a look. So user get a prompt that the malicious address is blocked by OneRPC Plus. Cool. Let me quit this video first. I can't get out of this video. Right. So OneRPC has a very modular architecture for all the hackathon builders and to your benefit, that it enables and allows simple and easy integration. And while at the same time, it allows us to easily just scale up for more integrations and user volumes. So this is the architecture of OneRPC Plus Transaction Sanitizer. So it sits side by side from the free version of OneRPC to safeguard user transactions. So if you want to integrate OneRPC, you can do it. If you want to add additional customized transaction ideas, you can do it. And if you want OneRPC to have more possibilities or make suggestions for additional features, you can do that as well. So we invite everyone to build something and protect users with OneRPC and OneRPC Plus. So moving on to the Zero2Hero Hackathon, let's explore that. What are the things that we can do with OneRPC? And specifically, there are 3 directions potentially that users can explore. Number 1 would be like UI, UX. So currently, the user experience for OneRPC Plus is still not extremely ideal in terms of how alerts are disseminated to users. A lot of things can still be improved. So some of the ideas that developers can work on are maybe like browser extensions or other front ends, such as MetaMask snaps. Also, like alert mechanisms can be improved to provide a more intimate user experience. And also, you can potentially integrate OneRPC customization dashboard, so the backend of OneRPC customization, into the wallet extension itself. So we welcome projects to help improve OneRPC functionalities and user experience by developing all kinds of innovative front-end solutions. Second, so these are the UI UX ideas that I talked about. Second example of ideas that you can develop is to create or develop additional transaction sanitizers functions or rules for OneRPC Plus. So some examples are the recent modal phishing by hackers manipulating the UI element. These are called homoglyph attacks. So spoofing fake websites with the scam URL address links. Developers can, come up with some innovative solutions or ideas. You can use machine learning, for example, to flag suspicious websites. There are lots of possibilities. So finally, you can develop something that's powered by OneRPC or OneRPC Plus. So we would like to encourage developers who are interested in extending the functions of OneRPC or OneRPC Plus, considering how OneRPC can integrate with ongoing developments in the space to experiment on proof of concepts. You could use a proxy model. So these functions could be RPC methods that your proof of concept demo handles before you send it out to OneRPC or OneRPC Plus. So one example of this is the EIP 4337 account abstraction, wallets, etc. This could have potentially really powerful use cases and many possibilities there. So another example would be like a gasless transaction using, for example, Bioeconomy or Ethereum gas station network, GSN. And obviously, the connection between your project and the broader BNB community should also be very clear. And this leads us to finally the judging criteria for the bounties. We have provided a bounty to encourage users to work with OneRPC and OneRPC Plus. So, whether you're working on something new and completely your own, that's very important that we really value. and can your idea be actually implemented with technical strength? And also, very importantly, user experience, how intuitive it is for users to use it. So we would love to see improvements on the current existing user experience for OneRPC Plus as well. And maybe one last thing is that the project should also offer other participants the opportunity to learn from and build on the team's work. So on OneRPC or OneRPC Plus, and it's best to be open source as well. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That wraps up my presentation. I'm free to take some questions from the community if there are any. Actually, I don't. There are some questions. So one user asks, are using any kind of blacklist database available API for these data? So yeah, actually we already integrated some APIs already from what I have shown, which is the Go Plus API and the Adventure DAO API. And you can also use your own, you can make your own blacklist based on public information. And of course, we intend to integrate more partners, and we welcome other partners to actually approach us and get in touch. Another question is it possible to add a total privacy extension to OneRPC Plus to totally keep anonymous all data and metadata? Is it possible to add a totally privacy extension? I'm not sure what the question means. I guess you know, OneRPC Plus is built upon OneRPC, so the answer is yes. Not only OneRPC Plus, we could also potentially add everything into OneRPC as well. So I don't see any more questions. If that's the case, I will pass it back to the host. Or maybe we can wait for more questions. Yeah, so yeah, thank you for your attention. And thanks everyone for attending our OneRPC workshop. Yeah, feel free to reach out to us by visiting onerpc.io and also send us email to plus@onerpc.io. Yeah, we look forward to getting your requests and your submissions. Thanks everyone.
Hello, Derek. Can you hear me?
Yeah, hi. Do you got me okay?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. So workshop was to start. You can choose to upload your PowerPoint or share your screen.
Yeah, I'll do a screen share. I wanted to give a live tour today as well.
Okay, cool. You can click on the present button and choose to share your screen.
All right. So hopefully that all looks good. Is the resolution all right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think people can see your screen now. And you can get started if you want. So maybe I can introduce a little. So Derek is from Blockless, and Blockless is one of our Zero2Hero sponsors, track supporters, and also Blockless has a provided bounty. So I think that's something like Derek will introduce later in the workshop. And for people who haven't registered for the hackathon, because I'm sure there's some people here maybe just new to the hackathon, you can register for the hackathon with the link I will share in the chat box later. And if you have registered already, you should join our Discord channel or the hackathon channel where all our partners, including Blockless, will be there to answer your questions. And also you can find your teammates there. So maybe Derek, you can get started.
Yeah, cool. Absolutely, for sure. So thank you for having me today. Good to meet everybody. I'm Derek from the Blockless Network. I lead the engineering over there. So today I'll be going through a little bit about what Blockless is, how you can use it, and then hopefully, if the demo gods allow, we'll do a quick tour of the system as well. So really, we want to kind of discuss how you can build, verifiable event-driven applications using Blockless and target Greenfield. That's what this hackathon is about. So first, let's go ahead and kind of get into, what is Blockless itself. Blockless is a WASM-based layer that is a serverless function platform. So what that means is anything that you write that kind of targets the Blockless network is also portable. You can take it with you. We're doing a lot of work on trying to make sure that what we have you build is going to live beyond the network and that you'll be able to, continue developing it even if there are problems. That's kind of what made the cloud so compelling, is being able to take your containers from AWS to Google, any provider that really kind of benefits you or has your business goals at mind. So that really means that we have to have some kind of interface or an SDK to help you build stuff. And so that's another area that we really focus on, is trying to ensure that you don't have to go out and find the connections to these networks or maintain a lot of infrastructure for these networks. We want to kind of drop those in for you and allow you to interact with nodes or services without really thinking about it too much. In addition to all of those things that kind of help you build applications to be portable small chunks, Blockless also has, really at its core, is an intelligent scaling protocol that really helps you build the app. So you no longer really have to think about how many number of servers you need or how vertically you need those, to scale. So just to give you kind of a total overview of what's all in the Blockless protocol and network itself. So it's its own standalone P2P network, but it's not a blockchain. It doesn't kind of hold itself to any kind of block time scenario. It really listens to real-time eventing and it forms real-time consensus when it's needed. So the execution consensus clusters come together and then they do their execution, then they break off and move on to do other work at another time. Again, it's WASM based, so you bring really what you want, your own technology. We're completely open source. Because it is WASM based, you can pretty much write a serverless function in any language. This really makes it kind of advantageous for your team, depending on what your skill set is. You can do Rust, Go, assembly script. You could even do C++ if you want. Just a disclaimer here, if you're getting into this, we do have the best support for assembly script, though we have everything documented if you really did want to do C++ or something like Python. If you're interested, we also have an extensible plugin system. So we write CGI plugins for these. And that's also another vertical that you could actually get into for the hackathon, is creating a Greenfield native plugin. We have an IPFS one if you want to see it. For this hackathon, if you want to do storage, though, because Greenfield has been well thought out and architected in a very well-mannered way, you can use our S3 plugin and get started right away. And it works really well with the management portal for Greenfield itself. So that's what we'll kind of get in today, is what can you use today at the state of the Blockless network that we can offer you immediately for the Greenfield Hackathon. And really S3 integration is going to be your top pick when you want to do storage integration for this hackathon. Again, it really goes well with how Greenfield is thought out and the whole mechanism in which Greenfield gives you S3 buckets to interact with. Very seamless to start using on the Blockless network. We have an event-driven triggers mechanism that'll actually help you listen to the Binance chain. You can target a specific smart contract and an event within that smart contract and kind of do whatever you need to do with those events. And then the WASM support that we actually already have built into the SDK is fairly robust, even though this is a very small limit, a very small list of what we have that you can use right now. But Redis, HTTP modules, JSON modules, you can interact with web requests, especially with the event-driven mechanisms that we have. We have the S3 integration, and there's a whole bunch more under the hood that you can see inside the docs as well. So, we're going to take a few minutes now. I know this is a really short workshop and I wish we had a lot more time, but I do want to do more than just some slides, and I kind of want to make sure that you get a chance to really kind of come and see stuff with me as well. So typically where you would start if you're going to be doing development in the application side of the stack versus say the extension portions of the stack is really getting our CLI. So this CLI here is going to help you get started. Really, we have good documentation here on how to install this. It works in almost any Linux environment or Windows environment. You'll just do a one-liner, and when you're off to the races, this will help you develop the functions locally. It'll help you test and deploy them locally, and then you can push them up to the system once you're ready to deploy them. It does use a crypto wallet login, so we do have support for MetaMask. We don't really have any regard to the chain that you use, so feel free to kind of use your preferred chain. If you're working specifically on a Binance BNB to Greenfield integration, you can use your BNB addresses as an example. So as I mentioned, we have really nice docs. You can hit up blockless.network/docs and start here, especially for getting going. This will teach you about installing the CLI. It'll walk you through how to do functions themselves, what our SDK has, how you can interact with the SDK, how you can kind of specify some things about the package that you're going to deploy or the function that you're going to deploy as well. It'll walk you through publishing, getting an account, all of that good stuff. And then if you really do have any other problems where you feel like you need to kind of get some more help, the Discord is the best place to reach us. I'm active on there all the time. Just pop in, you'll find me at the top of the list in the ops group. You can get us on Telegram, though that's a little harder because it gets flooded a bit. We have the GitHub where you can also go there and open issues if you find any reason. And Twitter you can use kind of as a last resort, but I really recommend hopping on Discord. We're super active there. All right, so what I kind of want to show then now is probably let's go see what the dashboard console looks like. So this will be what most of you will interact with is this SaaS-based console here, and you really just log in. Well, I don't think I got MetaMask set up right now, so pardon me while I use a Kepler wallet. That's obviously not Binance enabled, but well, I guess Greenfield it is. All right. I'm gonna sign in. Like I said, we really just use any kind of key to get signed in here for the wallet of your choosing. So now I'll connect using the Kepler wallet here, and I'll get into this dashboard now. So this dashboard, you can manage functions that you'll deploy using the CLI as well. So go ahead and once you install the CLI and you do a function or a BLS login, you'll log into this console the same way. We have an OAuth structure that'll bring you back then to the CLI. And then once you deploy any of the functions from the CLI, they'll end up here for management. So really what this kind of shows you is a web-based ingress that touches your functions so that you can get results out of them. You'll be able to name the function, watch the last time it was updated, what the current status is, We'll give you an invocation URL that goes through the distributed gateway so that you can touch it on a web app. You can use a smartphone or any web-enabled device to do those GET requests. Show you the errors as well if there's an error routine. And then when you actually touch it, it literally just that executes the function on our P2P network and then brings that back to you. So it's pretty easy. We'll go ahead and be able to walk through something today as well. And then, as I mentioned, we have the trigger mechanisms. So you can use these to actually connect to your functions underneath the function settings here. When you go into a function, you'll see settings and you'll see a cron trigger. So you can actually add a trigger schedule to execute this function. And then within triggers themselves, you can get a little bit more advanced and you can actually watch the chain for specific trigger intervals and execute your function this way as well. So this way you can actually just watch the Binance chain. You can write your functions completely serverless, and you don't have to have a long running machine that's sitting there listening and costing you money. Your operating costs, obviously right now, this is all free, but your operating costs over the long term will be much less. So let's go ahead and kind of just see what it looks like when we create a function. You'll go in here if you haven't already. You'll connect your GitHub account. So if you've already used the CLI, you've made a function, you've uploaded it to your GitHub, you can go ahead and connect it, using I think I have test function. Maybe I don't have one on here right now. You can connect it then using this, and we'll help you deploy and use the automation as well. But I'm going to go ahead and hit the hello world case here, and then just create a new function. So what this is doing now is it's gone through, it's using GitHub to save my function source, and then building that function on GitHub currently. And then it's assigning a invocation URL for your metrics as well. So what's kind of really neat is that the function is abstracted from what your execution results are. So you could actually share your source or your function with another user, and then they can put their execution results or requirements on top of your function and then deploy that to the network for execution as well. So again, we've built this so that it's super reusable, and we hope in the future that you'll be able to share and potentially maybe monetize. So we're looking, it's already deploying out to the network, and it should be deployed here pretty quick. And there it is. So it's been deployed. If all works well, we're going to hit this URL and we're going to see another hello world. So there we are. We've deployed the function and it's out there now. If we actually go back to my GitHub profile, we'll see that we have this function source code is here now as well. Cool. All right. So you could go in and we do assembly script as a first citizen right now, just because it's way more approachable for a lot of people to get in. And as you see, this is really all of it is right here. Hello world. And we should be able to change this. Again, really praying that everything works well on a live demo. I don't know if the action, so there it is. It's been updated now, and it's pushing back. I don't think the dashboard currently keeps those statuses. So we'll see when this is complete. We'll head back and give this a try. We're going to go ahead and take a look at just a couple more little quick starters, just so you can kind of get a feel exactly how to build some apps. So here's an example of source code around reading a number in from the command line. So one of the reasons that I keep mentioning, we've built this so that it kind of outlives us is, we're giving you access to read std in as if a user actually entered some kind of string or piped something into your application. We also give you access to read environment variables as well. And so the benefit of reading environment variables is that, again, now when you're writing this application, it really is meant to kind of live outside of us. This could live in somebody's desktop as a different utility, or you could pass it around to a web distributable if you want to, put it in your front end. When we look at something that's a little bit more API concentrated, that would be run on a function, here's an example of how the S3 will work when you're actually going to interact with Binance. So again, you create your configuration. Binance will give you the Greenfield access key and secret key, and the endpoint for the bucket that you'll be using, the name of the bucket that you've created using the Greenfield manager, and then that's really it. You can list items out of the bucket. You can put items into the bucket. Yeah, this is putting a uinit array in, so keep in mind we're using WASM. There are string helper methods, but just to kind of make it very illustrated at the point, you can put the objects in to the bucket pretty easily. And then just as easy as it was to put the file path into the bucket, you can get that back out of the bucket. And then you can also obviously delete the bucket. So you've got full CRUD operations there as well. Let's go ahead. It said that this was updated. Let's see if it actually deployed, and hello Binance. So it's really that easy. Let me make that bigger so you can all see that. It really is that easy then for updating your distributed, decentralized functions. Again, we just went into GitHub, we edited one piece of the source code, and then when we committed it back, it really took care of the rest of that for us. So that's really kind of everything in the nutshell. We've only got about a few minutes here, so I want to leave it open if there's questions in those last 10 minutes too. But I'm going to reiterate that if you need to learn more, please visit us at blockless.network. You can read our docs at blockless.network/docs. Visit us on Twitter, twitter.com/blockless, the blockless, excuse me, or you can get us on GitHub again at github.com/blocklessnetwork. Find us on the Discord. I'll be more than happy to help. But that's what we've got today, and we're looking forward to seeing what you're going to bring us and build something really awesome using Blockless and Greenfield today. Cool.
Thanks, Derek. I think we got one question from the listener. You can see it on the screen.
Yeah, is it possible to use Blockless to encrypt objects at rest and transit? Yes, absolutely. So because this is a generalized compute network, you'll want to use any kind of WASM-based encryption mechanism, and we do have a crypto library that's available to you as well. But there is no cost or fee associated with like a regular kind of encryption that may cost you a lot using a smart contract on the chain. So really any general purpose compute is available here with no gas cost. The ZK tooling is currently not available for the Greenfield hackathon just because the costs associated with getting the proving. If you're interested, we do have the mechanisms available for you to kind of peruse that and look through it. But unfortunately, just because it's cost prohibitive, we're not able to support it for the Binance hackathon currently. Yeah, again, if you need any contact or help with tooling, please reach us on Discord. The team is active there, and you'll find me there 24/7 as well. That's just the Blockless Discord, and then on the right hand side of the user list, you'll see me at the top. Yeah, so some ideal use cases for this hackathon really are, indexers, file storage services, so things that, people want to drop a meme and they can store it there. You could create an application that helps identify or do minting as well for NFTs, because again, this is boundless compute and it's dynamic. And then kind of along that lines, generating dynamic NFTs as well is totally possible using our technology. There is, again, no compute overhead, storing those on Greenfield, handing out the hashes or minting them and storing them back to an L1 as an example. Really, the ideas here are pretty boundless in what you can build. Blogging applications, as an example, would be great as well. There's so much space available that you could store a lot of things on there. We are also, really interested in kind of seeing any mechanisms around eventing with indexing and game style mechanisms using the Greenfield as well. So cool.
Okay, is any more questions? We still got around a few minutes for the question. If no more questions, we may... Actually, I think the Mark from T Workshop is already at the next stage, so actually we can get started if there's no more questions for Blockless.
Cool. Thank you so much for your time today.
And thanks, Derek, director. Yeah, really good sharing. And bye-bye. So actually, we still have got 10 minutes. But Mark, if you want to get started, now you can also, upload your
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks so much. Let me just get everything set up here and share my presentation. I think I'm going to share a screen. Let's see if those two.
Yeah, I can see your screen now.
Might be a bit small on this big screen, but I can make the presentation larger. Cool. All right. And I will be jumping back and forth because I also will show some demo. And yeah, hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. I'm here representing T, and we're building a token economy backed by open source code. And we're really excited about the BNB Chain Zero2Hero Hackathon and participating, and have so many of you come join here. So a little bit about me before we get started. I'm in kind of like a self-taught software developer, but like from the last 15 years ago, I've been open source probably for the last like 7 or 8 years. I joined T as a developer relations person, and my job basically is to make you successful, right? You as developers, that not just at this hackathon, but also, working with our tooling, working with our package manager. We want to get the best possible experience for you using our tools. And, so when you're joining our Discord or wherever, that's where you probably will see me a lot. We're very active on GitHub, obviously. And you can find me personally on Twitter at MFTS0, or my email's right there as well, if you ever want to reach out. So before we kind of like dive in what T is, I wanted to give you a bit of the backstory, because T itself is kind of like, the next iteration of open source development and especially package managers. So Max Howell is the founder and CEO of T, but he's most prominently known as the creator who built Homebrew back in 2009. So many of you developers will instantly be familiar with Homebrew because it's been used by close to 40 million people around, or developers around the world. So the chances are that, probably half the room here or even more knows what Homebrew is. It's highly likely. Homebrew was such a success because at the time, in 2009 and 2010, there wasn't really any good tooling to set up your development environment. So Homebrew was an instant success. It had, 10,000 or tens of thousands of contributors. It had thousands of packages that it supports and still supports today. It's still pretty relevant in the development cycle today. But a lot has changed over the years. And, you know, from personal experience, I'm speaking here for Max, but from personal experience for Max, really all this value that he contributes to the open source ecosystem has outweighed much more than what he was able to kind of like get in return. You know, large companies like Google are using Homebrew, or were using Homebrew on a daily basis. But no one ever gave back any contribution or any remuneration, any money back to Max for this hard work that he's put in. So, you know, fast forward to 2022, when T really had this new spin, and this is where, you know, really this Web3 ecosystem comes in, because Web3 and crypto and open source, they're kind of like perfectly matched together, because open source, right, is software, and Web3 is the first time where there's actually, you know, money is built into the software itself. So you can control an economy with software. And so this is a perfect match for the open source ecosystem. And basically the mission behind T is really to create the sustainable economy for open source development. Right now, open source developers are not really getting paid. It's a labor of love, as many like to say. However, you still need to put a roof over your head. You still need to eat, right? So many of the open source maintainers and contributors, currently they have, you know, a full-time job and the open source project, which may or may not be extremely popular and dependent on by Fortune 500 companies and many other software projects. They're doing that on the side, on the evenings, on the weekends, in their spare time, essentially, for zero remuneration. So the entire vision of T is, and that's where, again, Web3 comes in, is on one side, we're building this next generation package manager, which, just like Homebrew, has kind of the entire graph of dependencies and packages. It knows this intrinsically, because as a package manager, you kind of live at the lowest level, and you orchestrate all these packages that a developer needs. So we know all the relationships between which package is dependent on which. And on the other hand, we have the T protocol, which we haven't released yet, but the T protocol essentially lets both maintainers, but also users, stake token on certain contributions, on certain packages, back maintainers and packages, and thereby reap rewards and help the package maintainer, who also can stake their own tokens on their packages, on the releases, on the contributions that they make to open source, and thereby indirectly reap rewards from this economy. And we think this is, well, we know this is something that hasn't been done before, and it's very ambitious. And because we're open source developers and we felt this pain for so long, we feel like now is the time that it's, for the first time, it's possible to kind of solve this problem. And this problem is usually referred to the Nebraska problem, right? I mentioned this open source maintainer that's on the weekend supporting a project, and all of a sudden this project gets super popular, and, you know, people build on top of this project and they abstract it away, and it ends up being this little brick at the bottom of a really big pile that we now call the internet. And everything seems to be relying on like a couple of these packages that are maintained by either solo maintainers or a small group of individuals who are loosely connected. And, you know, God forbid any one of them, you know, get ill or pass away, or, you know, get really burned out from this project, right, that they're maintaining for free. Then kind of like the entire tower of modern infrastructure really comes crumbling down. And we've seen this a couple times already, especially, you know, accelerated over the last 2 years with exploits on OpenSSL, but also Log4j most prominently, where no one really knew that they were using Log4j in any of their Java packages. So these large Fortune 500 companies, they're using open source software, but they don't really know that it's there. And more awareness is being made, but we're still a far cry away from having open source maintainers really earn a living wage off of their contributions that they make to kind of the open source ecosystem. So this is really what we're trying to solve, like these two problems, right? How we can combine Web3 protocols with a package manager that knows the entire graph, and they fit really well together. And that's kind of like, in an abstract way, this is what T represents, right? You have on one side, you have the community, and on the other side, you have open source contributors. And everyone can interact with this protocol, and with the package manager, they're basically one together. So I often say package manager, but really it's a packaging infrastructure that we're building, because we're building a lot of tooling. A lot of things have changed since 2009, since Homebrew came out. A lot more modern technology can be used, and so we're making we're building this packaging infrastructure to relieve the pain from developers like yourselves. And that's kind of like the point where I want to also jump into a demo, right? I mentioned the package manager, just the core product of T itself, and it lives in your terminal. So it's just like any other package manager, whether it's npm or Homebrew. It's a command line interface. However, the special thing about T is really that it's almost invisible. You don't know it's there, but it's extremely powerful because it abstracts away the installation process for a lot of packages that you don't even know that you needed it. So I want to take this time to jump over into my terminal, and I'm just going to increase the size here for you. All right. So install the package manager, and this is something that you'll definitely need if you work with our bounty. It's a single line curl installer. Basically, I added this dash yes to the end so that it basically skips the kind of like the questions that it asks me, like, hey, do you want to install this here? And do you want to install our one-liner, our magic one-liner in your shell config? And just to recap what just happened, we basically installed this already. Just to recap what happened, the very special thing about T is that everything is, I'll say, sandboxed in this .t directory in my home folder. So that means we never touch any system files, and we never, like Homebrew installs everything directly into your user local bin, right? And then basically your entire system is not infected, but it's in a way has all these packages available. Whereas T goes a different route. We say we want it as modular as possible and as isolated from your system as possible. So we have everything. T itself is a package that is also installed into this .t directory. As you can see here, that's where we installed it. And we have the binary here. And then what happened here with the magic is essentially we're in your path, we're looking for, we're basically making T available so that whenever I just need to really update my shell or open a new terminal in order for it kind of like to work. And let's say I want to just show you what the T directory looks like. And you can see that there's nothing in there right now, except a few packages that we have stored. So charm.sh is, for example, a package. Let me just give a better representation of this. So charm.sh is a terminal linting, color coding library. And you can see we have these unique identifier or fully qualified domain names. These are equally the domain names if you were to open them on the web. And we can go actually into just Charm and see what's in here. And we see here there's a package called gum. And if you were to go charm.sh and then look for a package called gum, you will find exactly what it does. But it's basically making this nice looking annotations here in your terminal. And lets you build something cool, some cool stuff in the terminal. As you can see, I have some stuff in GNU installed, but I don't, for example, have Alpaca installed. It's let me just open this, Alpaca CPP. So let me just make this a bit bigger for you. But this is something that came out. It's a JetGPT-like model, right, that was trained and built on JetGPT answers based on the lu.ma model from Facebook or Meta. And this is a command, it runs in the command line. So I don't know how to install this. If I read through this, I would, build it from source. I need to kind of like, if I'm on Windows, there's a different path to installing this. And it's really not super straightforward for me. But T, for example, has, because it's a command line interface in a way, T has packaged this. So I can just type alpaca.cpp, and what happens here, it loads all the dependencies in the background. But just by typing this, there was a command not found issued, and T intercepted this command and installed basically the Alpaca package right here and immediately ran it. So now I can just ask it, define open source software in one sentence. Let's see if it can throw something good at here. First to computer program, cool. So this is an example of how you can use a package. So we've installed T, and now we've run a package basically, and we can look and we can see that Alpaca is here under github.com because it actually doesn't have its own. So if I look at antimatter, and then Alpaca is right here, this package. It doesn't have its own domain name, so that's why we used kind of github.com to create this domain name. Okay. Next up, let's say I want to, as you've seen, I don't have Node installed. I can just type which node, no node is installed. Node 20 came out, I think, yesterday or the day before. So that's cool. T packages automatically new versions. So we've built kind of like a workflow where, whenever there's a new version release, we automatically package it and deploy it to kind of our network, so that if you want to install the latest version of Node, you can easily do that. But you can also install any other version of Node in parallel, because like I said, it's sandboxed. So you don't need to, you can specify whichever version of Node or a particular package you want to use, and then it only injects that particular package into your path during the execution. So there's no more version actually happening. And I think that's a huge relief. So, away with NVM or, other version managers, because T can basically take care of that for you. So let's say, very popular programming language, JavaScript, and I want to, run just a create React app, or sorry, create next app, and call it example app. What you can see here, what's happening here, it's npm, node, all of these don't exist, right? So it's installing actually all the packages that are required that are dependencies of Node or NPM. And you can see them here clearly outlined, and all of these are shown that they're installed in your T directory. So this is now the regular workflow of create next app. So it's asking me, do you want TypeScript app, ESLint, Tailwind CSS, source directory, app directory, no. Okay. And then I can easily run this. And I did all of this without having to fiddle around with, how do I get Node, how do I get NPM, and installing all of these. And as you can see, we can cd into example app, npm run dev, and open it up, and we'll see the npm the Next.js start page. Okay, that's great. That's 2 examples that I wanted to show you that kind of make it clear how we're using this. Another thing that I want to show you is that we can also, with T, we can execute scripts. So we have a demo repository right here, and Jacob, one of our engineers, built a hello world of hello worlds. So we called it Hello Universe, because it basically runs hello world in all different programming languages. And you can see here it's using Go, it's using Node.js, Perl, Python, Ruby-Lang, Lua, Rust, and C++. So what I can do is I can just use this package, and it works with a URL as well. I'll type T because, I'm just going to show you. T is what I've installed, and this is the command line name for it. And I can just type T and then paste the direct link to the hosted script and execute it. And what happens for each line, and we can check this here in parallel. So we're first installing Dino because we are executing this hello.ts with Dino. We're then having a Go file, and so we need to install Go. And you can see for each and every programming language what packages are required to be installed. And we're stowing them away in the home directory.t. So they're all isolated. They're not touching your actual environment, your actual system environment. So, but they're all stowed away here. And if we go in now, so let's go back to T. It's maybe not the best representation. It's very crowded. So now we have a lot more packages than we had in the beginning. But I could just remove Node, for example, this package. This package itself is isolated. If we have to run anything with Node again, it would just fetch this package again for us. T would know that Node is not installed and will install it for us. So this is the entire magic of the T package manager. So next, I want to, and this is now getting closer to also the hackathon challenge itself, I wanted to show you how you can create new packages. So I'm back here in my demo directory, and we only have our example app here. And we have these different repositories on GitHub, like the CLI. This is the command line interface that we have just installed at the beginning of this demo. I want to see if I can make this a bit bigger for you, that you can see it perfectly fine. And then we have also something called the pantry. This is where all the packages live. And I've got the packages page open, so we call it pantry/projects. And right here, you can see all the qualified domain names. And many of these have nested packages and nested folders as well. So these are not just like single packages here, but, for example, like I said, with GitHub, there's a lot of packages that don't actually have a domain. So they all live kind of like under their GitHub handle. Likewise with GitLab, for example. And so all of this lives here in this pantry, and it's open source, and you can look at, let's look at how Charm is built. Most of these are Go packages. So there's a package.yaml file, and we picked on purpose a package YAML file because it's not a proprietary file type, which means that it can be read by any other program. Whereas, if we were to use, let's say another, we always needed an interpreter for a particular file extension, and YAML is just plain text essentially that does have a structure, right? And so it can be parsed by any other package to build cool stuff on top of that, right? We built T to be open source, to also get feedback from the community of what they could build next. So this is a sample example of what a package.yaml file looks like, and it gives basically you the instructions of where do we fetch the source code, which versions, and this is where the versioning comes in, and whenever there's a new version of GUM, automatically a new release and a new build is triggered. Then we have what binaries does this particular package provide. In this case, it provides only a single binary, and this enables also the magic that if we type GUM in our command line, that it actually then finds this particular package. Finally, we have build. We have the script within the build, and then we have particular dependencies that are needed only for build time. We have environment variables that we need for the build time, and then at the bottom we have a test. Right? We always want to make sure that we test the actual binaries, not the build process, but the actual binaries. Okay. So let's get started. So I'll jump over to kind of like the pantry here. And right here we have also how can you contribute. And this is a core part of our challenge, right? Our challenge is all about, I'll stop here because Nasir just asked a really good question. Is T a replacement for Homebrew? We think T is kind of like the logical, the next iteration of Homebrew. Something that doesn't mess up your system files, and essentially it's just as powerful. So yeah, I'll just leave it at that. It's from the same creator, and you can kind of imagine, Max has all these ideas and had all these ideas over the years after having built Homebrew to its success that it was, and using the latest tooling and the latest, technology stack, what can be done better? So that's why we think it's the logical iteration, the next successor to Homebrew. So first thing first, we want to clone the repository here because we'll work in pantry, and this is where all the packaging and everything happens, right? So I'll clone it from up here with the GH, and this is fun because I don't have GH installed. Actually, I don't have the command line installed from GitHub, but I have T installed, so it will just install the command line. I didn't give it my public key permission. Okay, that's always the live demos. It always happens like this. So let me just clone it like this. But it did install the command line of GitHub, so that's all good. Great. So now we have kind of like our pantry right here, and the next steps in the documentation is, we want to initialize a new clean slate package YAML. But now the question is, what packages do you actually want to build? So we have compiled a list of the top 300 packages that we find not we, it's not a subjective line. It's actually that based on Homebrew, because this is the big package manager and we're, there's obvious ties to Homebrew with Max being the creator of both. We can track how many packages were actually installed on request at Homebrew, and that's publicly available information. And so based on this list, we compiled a list of the top 300 packages, plus all of its dependencies that are most important for developers. And having covered all of these top 300, we'll probably cover like 95% of a developer's needs. Of course, always more packages and new packages will be built, but as you will discover, a lot of these packages are from back in the day, and they're still super relevant because of this Nebraska problem, right? We're just building on top of existing packages, and we're just building on top of these dependencies. So a lot of these packages are still really relevant, and whatever is checked off, this is what's already built. And wherever there's no check mark, this is still open up for grabs. And that's where we hope that some of the hackathon contributors would jump to it and start packaging up these packages. So I'll just grab a package here like Geos, and we've created for each an individual ticket. And we added actually the Homebrew formula because there's also open source, just as the T formula, and the T package is open source itself. So, in the future, anyone can refer back to the T formula. And I've got the Geos open right here. It's a geometry library. I personally have not heard of it. It's probably a package that's semi-important. It's on number 128 of dependencies and packages out of the top 300 plus its dependencies, so 548. And yeah, so it's probably important to some extent. And the regular workflow that I would do is I would look for, okay, what's the homepage, right? What's this qualified domain name? Because this is how we identify packages in T. And so the qualified domain name is this lib.geos.org. So perfect. We already know we want to build this, and this is how I'm going to initialize it. So back here in my terminal, I'm just going to package init. I know the name is going to be libgeos.org. Enter, right? Now it's going to install, because at T, we've built our own packaging infrastructure. So we have BrewKit. It's another package that we've built to help and ease our packaging. And that's where actually this PKG package comes from. So now I can open this in my favorite editor. I'm using VS Code. And I'm just going to open this PKG right here. And so PKG edit basically opens up this empty package YAML. And let me just make this also big for everyone. And you can see we're right here in our pantry, and this is where everything is happening. So from now on, I have this blank package YAML, and we've seen it with GUM before, what it looks like, and now we've got this blank YAML. Now, the normal process for me is let me just drag this over here. You want to look at the official documentation for, how do I download and build this, right? What are the sources? So there's a link here to download the source code, and here are the build instructions and what are the build requirements and how do I do this. There's also typically, GitHub is so prominent that there's also a GitHub library nowadays, and this is preferred at the moment because we can automate all of the releases. So the latest release was March 17th. Now, if there's one happening in the next few months, and we package this today, we forget about this package. If there's a new release coming and we have kind of like GitHub set up, then all of this will happen automatically. So right here, they also have a build and install script, so I can look at this and it shows me everything that I need to do to build this from scratch. I've kind of like prepared this demo, obviously. So let me just paste all of this in, how the perfect, not the perfect, but how this looks like. So I'm using the GitHub distributable to download from releases. I'm going to tag the GitHub version, the releases tags. I defined here that I need make, that's a bit small maybe for you. I defined that I need cmake.org as a build dependency. I'm defining here my script, in my build script, my dependencies, what binaries it provides, and I've written a small test here. And all of this is just written in a different way, right? Different. This is Ruby format, and we're writing it in YAML format. So, but you can see the steps are very similar. So we depend on CMake. Here's the build script to install geos or libgeos. Here's the test, and here's running the test. All right. So let me just open up my console right here, just to show you how this quickly works. So I'm going to type pkg build and libgeos.org, and obviously I'm doing this now from the terminal from right here, but you could also do it obviously from your other terminal, whatever you feel more comfortable. And it's giving you a little bit of hints like what it's doing, and this is again annotated with gum from charm.sh, and so it's installing, it's running the make process, and we can probably skip ahead because I want to be mindful of your time as well while this is being built in the background. And we're just going to keep an eye on this until it says build complete. Usually it doesn't take that long, so I'm not worried. Cool. So right now we've got, close to 400 packages, and through this hackathon we hope that a lot more packages will be built, and that you have maybe software that you rely on that you would like to see in T, right, in this next generation package manager. So that's why the challenges that we've given is really package submissions and building these scripts. So we have, like I said, I'm going to share this presentation also later on. And there's the top 300 packages. It's a great start for looking for new packages to build. And then we have script submissions, right? So I've showed you one script, which is the Hello World universe, but we have a lot more here in demos that we can also show up. So how to set up, Git commit signing, for example, that you also always have this like verified commit whenever you commit something in GitHub. Super important, both for open source and closed source, right? You want to make sure that you are the person that's committing something. So we built a script to just make it super easy for you. And yeah, so this is like the two main challenges: package submissions and script submissions. And there's examples that I will share these links in Discord, and I'll also share this presentation there. And then, I'm in kind of like in T's Discord, and this is the link to T's Discord. It's also just discord.t.xyz, and of course the ENCODE Club's Discord in technical questions, or you can find me there just at, I think MFTS, not MFTS 0, MFTS 0 only on Twitter. So this package build, we can see that it's successfully built. We run test, and it also tests successfully. And then all we need to do is now open a pull request on the TXYZ pantry, right? So we've got a bunch of pull requests here already for new packages. So all we need to do is open a pull request, and then this will count towards the challenge itself. So that's it for me. I used up more than half an hour, and thank you so much for sticking with me. I'm open to still any questions. Yeah, that's a great question. We get that a lot actually in the community. So do we plan to launch a token, and do we plan to launch this soon? Yes. So core part of the strategy is, like I said, is having this T protocol, right? And this protocol then also has a token launch associated with it that you can then stake and kind of like circulate the token in the economy. We haven't officially announced yet when this protocol will be launched. So the best time is stay tuned. It will be not too far away. That's all I can say so far. Thank you for your question, Ephraim. Yeah, okay. I guess this was a reply from Andre to Nasir regarding whether it's a replacement for Homebrew. Yes, that's really one of the reasons, right? We've got close to 400 packages now. Ideally we want to get to the 1,000, etc. packages very quickly. One of the key, it's really a community-driven project, right? As a packager, right? All you need to do is really, build this package YAML file, open a pull request. It obviously should work in a way, but you can, influence so many developers, with one contribution, like you could probably never anywhere else on any open source project, because immediately whatever you package, this will be available to everyone that's using T, and that's quite a power. And will open up the open source ecosystem a lot more. So yeah, Andre, great comment there. Thank you. Cool. I don't see any questions here in the chat. So yeah, I guess we're already at the hours. So I want to thank you so much for tuning in. I'm just gonna leave kind of like my details up here. If you want to reach out, I'm just gonna make this full screen. It's easier to see. There is a little survey. If you want to give me some feedback, that'd be great. However, you can always find me on Twitter, reach out on email, or of course on Discord. Just search MFTS. That's me. And I'll be kind of like your shepherd through this hackathon, and you can ask me with any questions. There's no questions too easy or too hard. We have a great team, and we're really looking forward to getting your feedback also and your contributions. So yeah, thank you so much, and yeah, have a lovely day.